Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Casual Sports Podcast after Thanksgiving edition. Still pre-recorded, though, in the morning of Friday, so you cannot interact with us live during the show. But I'm Alek, that's Matt Morrison and Mike Wolfgang. Guys, how was your turkey day? What's going on?
Oh, it was pretty good. I'm full still.
I feel I don't think I had breakfast this morning.
Now we know how yours went. We won't say, but yeah, mine was good.
Mike, you were playing some football. Had a turkey bowl. How'd it go? You win?
So I played good, but no, we lost. By a touchdown. It was
close?
A close game. I mean,
Nice.
It was kind of like a jarred turkey bowl. It was mainly jarred people, so we played at Jarred Stadium.
Oh, sweet.
You know, my buddy Michael, he had the game-winning interception like he usually does, and sealed the deal. But it was fun.
Nice. Turkey bowl route's pretty simple. It's just everybody go deep, right?
Yep, and I was playing the short route, so that's where I was getting my catches. It was easy.
There you go. Rack them up. Matt, what about you? You have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Just laying around, watch movies, watch sports.
Nice.
I had to break out the classic Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's just a classic Thanksgiving movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I had football on all day, so.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into some sports then.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, tonight, New York Knicks host the Phoenix Suns. Suns minus 2.5 in this game. It feels like it's going to be probably best game of the day, but New York Knicks kind of been on a little bit of a slide. They feel like they had a lot of momentum, but now they're just 5-5 in their last 10 games. The Suns are still on a 14-game win streak right now, and they are playing hotter than anybody in the NBA. As you know, Phoenix normally is one of the hottest states in America. So, I guess only fitting their team is on a hot streak after starting 1-3 to the season. They are on fuego.
They're insane, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's just doing what they need to do. Chris Paul.
I don't know how we're gonna make picks here. I don't know how anyone could really pick against this Phoenix Suns team right now because of how hot they're playing.
Suns are a real deal.
I mainly picked this game so that we can, at least have the discussion to talk about how good this basketball team is right now. And the first time these two teams have faced each other this season, it's been a lot of close games for the Knicks in these last 5. I mean, it was a 6-point win against the Lakers on Tuesday, a 6-point loss to the Bulls, a 7-point win over the Rockets, a 6-point loss to the Magic, an 8-point win against the Pacers. So everything has been really close for the Knicks, and that's how they're going to play this season because they have a lot of talent, a lot of youth, and they're really coming together in a good way. But, I just don't know if they can get past this Suns team right now, who, frankly, is the best team in the NBA, despite the fact they're still just second in the Western Conference right behind the Golden State Warriors. And if this ends up being our Western Conference championship, it is a collision course of two Goliaths. There's no David in this matchup.
No, not at all.
You look at Phoenix, too. I mean, they start out 1-3. They win 14 in a row. This is why – some of these hot starts, we talked about when the season first started, some of these hot or slow starts, you got to give it some time. And we knew a Phoenix team starting at 1-3, that wasn't going to last. And they rip off 14 in a row. And we saw them the last night or 2 nights ago against the Cavs. I mean, Cavs held their ground with them, but they just have enough to get you. They have enough.
And they're closing out games, even in those close games. I mean, even against the Spurs, who was a 4-point win on Monday, right after they blowout destroyed the Nuggets. I mean, it was only an 8-point game against the Mavericks that they win, and a 7-point game right before that. 3-point win against the Timberwolves. They're playing close, but they know how to finish, and that's where you kind of see the Knicks sometimes. They don't know how to finish. They can get you there, right? They can get you right to the edge. Kind of what we're seeing with the Cavs sometimes too. They can pull you right to the edge, but with all the injuries, they can't finish it out. And you're almost seeing the same thing now coming in from the Knicks. They don't necessarily have the injuries that Cleveland's dealing with, but I think they're still lacking a little bit of the chemistry, a little bit of the experience to be able to close the door on, a comeback or to pull off the end of a comeback and really close the door on a team just holding on by that much. And I just don't know if we can see that side of the New York Knicks tonight because that's what they're going to have to do. Phoenix is going to push them all the way down to the finish line. And if New York can stay in it, they're going to have themselves a chance. But their roster, I'm not 100% sure who you turn to, say, for a final shot, right? I don't think they have that guy. I mean, you look at Phoenix, it's Devin Booker. You look at the Warriors, it's Steph Curry. You look at the Nets, it's Durant or Harden. The Heat is Jimmy B. The Bulls have DeRozan. This just feels like a team that, while it's a great group of guys, I don't know if they have the guy. I mean, they have a lot of good guys, and don't get me wrong, I like a lot of guys on this roster, like Julius Randle, Kemba Walker, but he's out of his prime. Derrick Rose is there. RJ Barrett, who really has not lived up to a lot of the hype, and he's been dealing with injuries. Can't really stay there. Obi Toppin is on this team, but we haven't really seen him make a big mark in New York like he was expected to. Mitchell Robinson's not going to be your guy that shoots it. Emmanuel Quickly, I like that guy. He's a great player, but I don't know if he has that killer mentality,
No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely brings it off the bench. Yeah. I'll give him that. He had a couple big threes late against the Lakers, kind of put them in a good position to win that game. And yeah, for a bench guy, Matt, I agree with you. He's good, but I kind of agree with Alek. I mean, you can ask this question about a lot of teams, but some teams don't have to deal with it like you ran through. But if a game like this tonight is close and it comes down again like it was 2 nights ago in Cleveland, who's going to come up for the Knicks? And it's kind of the same situation for the Cavs the other night. It's probably going to be Darius, but who is it? So you can ask that about a lot of teams. I don't think
Cleveland wants it to be Darius. We wanted it to be Sexton or Mobley. But, with all the injuries Cleveland has. And I think this is also something, if we just want to pause a second here on the New York Knicks-Suns game, we'd go Cleveland here just for a brief second. Keep it casual. Yeah. Go off topic here a little bit. Cleveland, I think, honestly, needs to look into getting a new trainer. Because, I mean, this is every single year. Everyone's going down injured. And I don't see any other team dealing with it as bad and as consistently as Cleveland does every single year. I mean, it seems we're losing our entire starting 5 halfway through the season.
And I'm glad you brought this up because I was talking to my dad about this the other day. He's like, last year they had this. Even the year before, it wasn't as severe, but they had issues like this. So something's wrong with this. Something needs to be addressed on the medical staff. I mean, some of these injuries you can't help, though. I mean, like a sprained ankle and stuff like that. Like, it's not training. It just happens. Like, stuff like that just happens in sports. But, yeah, and it's key injuries, like you said, Alek. It's always, when a guy's starting to play good, he gets hurt. When, an important guy in the starting lineup, he's starting to play good, they get hurt. So it's frustrating because, I mean, although they're 9-10 right now, I think they are. I'm fine with that coming into the year because if you told me that at the beginning of the year, I'm fine with it. But
they could be better with all the injuries. Hey, let's go 500 through these first 20 games and then let's roll. And that's what they're doing.
They're injured and they're still 9-10. They only lost by 5 to the Suns team,
right?
And to the Nets.
I mean, we have so many good players, but we also have a lot of great ones that are injured right now. And I mean, can you imagine what kind of season Love could have had if he didn't get roughed up early? I mean, he was going phenomenal off the bench. I mean, even Jetty Osmond's been playing great off the bench. He's been dealing with injuries. I mean, we lose Sexton, for the season now. Mobley is still out for I think another 3 weeks. I mean. Our star players are going down like, pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving.
Well, the good news is they're saying another week or 2 he could be back. And then the only guys that are left injured are Sexton and Lamar Stevens. So if they get Stevens back, other than Sexton, you're pretty much healthy because he's out for the year. So that's a good sign because they got guys back. They got Osmond back the other night. He had a
23 points.
Like you said, good night off the bench, Matt. Yeah, and it was late too. He kept them in the game.
Kevin Love had 14 points off the bench too, and Ricky Rubio 15 points off the bench. I think you need to put Kevin Love in the starting role right here because Dean Wade, seriously, 0 points and he's starting.
That's just been the injuries. I think they're trying to make sure Kevin Love can be there at the end of the season and not necessarily burn through all of his minutes early because with an older guy like that who has injury problems, he's injury prone, I'm going to limit your minutes early in the season. If we get to the All-Star break and we're still a contender, then I'm going to let him go.
And I agree with you, Matt. Yeah, it's 0 points out of Dean Wade. I've been talking about this last few games that he's been starting, but probably the reason why they're not starting Kevin Love because they told him before the season, this is your role and you're going to stay by this. So I agree with you. He's probably a better option. He definitely is a better option. I mean, 0 points, I think he's better than that. But
once they get Mobley back, I mean, I'm sure they'll put the 2 centers.
Mobley will fit right back in. So
all right.
Then if we can get Markkanen back too, that puts Dean Wade back on the bench.
I guess Markkanen did come back though. He had 14.
He played the other.
Okay.
Yeah, he played the other.
I didn't remember when he was coming back.
So they're getting guys back, which is good, but
and those guys are going to be on limited minutes, and I think they're going to wait to really throw everyone back in immediately until we can get a fairly complete healthy roster. As you were saying here, we're going to get in a matter of weeks. So why don't we go back here, New York Knicks and Suns? Go ahead, and make some picks for tonight's game here. I'm taking Phoenix. Suns. 14 straight games, they're on fire. I'm taking Phoenix.
I'm taking the safe pick with Phoenix. I think they're a better rebounding team than Knicks. I think. They're better shooting from both inside the arc and outside the arc, and I just think they have more shooters than the Knicks do. So I think they're going to roll by that tonight, and I think they're going to take it.
Suns.
Suns all the way. All right. Well, also today, 10-6, Boston Bruins host the 12-4-3 New York Rangers. Boston -1.5 in this game. This, though, feels like a pretty good game. And honestly, they give the Bruins a little bit of the edge. I think they're undervaluing the Rangers, who are third in the Metropolitan Division. 55 goals for in the season, 52 against. Bruins are 51 goals for, 44 against. These two teams feel very similar. Last 10 games, Rangers are 6-2-2, 7-3-0 for the Boston Bruins. This feels like a lot closer of a matchup, and most likely to me, the reason the Bruins are being favored, it's at home, and it's the day after Thanksgiving. Everyone's running, quick, and all the New York guys had to get on a plane either late in the morning or late in the evening last night or early morning today, and get over to Boston or even on a bus. These players are coming in tired, full, probably a little bloated. That's probably why they're sticking it to Boston, just home crowd. Day after Thanksgiving, they're going to have that Thanksgiving energy. All the families are in town,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, New York has, one of the highest, if not the highest, goal-scoring team, and they are in the league. So I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game tonight. I think it's going to be a close one because, like you said, Alek, it's tough to play and travel after a holiday, like the day after a holiday. So, and they're going to be on the road. But, yeah, I mean, this is a match of some pretty even teams. New York won their last game against the Islanders 4-1 on Wednesday, I think it was. So, yeah, it's pretty evenly matched up. Record-wise, it's even. So, and it's in some New York-Boston rivalry action.
Yeah, New York-Boston. Matt, thoughts here?
I mean, Boston, man, they got some veteran guys on there. Brad Marchand, I believe he's here it is. He's 33 years old. I mean, they got a lot of guys on their team that are getting a little bit older now, but they can still play. These guys can still play hockey. Every year they are they're a contender to win the Stanley Cup. That have been for the past 4 years. So this is a Rangers team that they got some new guys in there. Panarin, who is he wasn't there before, now he's in there leading categories. I think they need to get guys like that to just surround this Boston team and take out their older guys who maybe can't keep up the whole time. But I mean, Brad Marchand, even though I'm not like his favorite fan, but the guy can still play. Like the whole team they can still skate, they can still shoot. So
yeah, Matt,
you can still put your body up there too against these other guys.
And you're right. The guys around them can do a lot more. But I mean, so right now, Martian's leading them in points, goals, and assists. So they're gonna have to get more from around him, and they definitely can, like you said. But it's for them being 10-6, yeah, it's been okay so far. But they're gonna have to change that up if they want to probably win this game and make a run like a Stanley Cup final run, but like you said, because they've been in the conversation the last few years. They were in one the last couple of years.
Guys, why don't we go ahead and make picks in this one? I mean, 10-6 Boston, 12-4-3 New York Rangers in Boston. Boston -1.5 point favorite in this one. Give me your picks.
Mike, go ahead.
I'm gonna go Rangers. I think it's gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be a high. It's gonna be a high scoring game because, like I said, it's hard after holiday. But I think they're gonna win one close. And yeah, I'm going Rangers.
I don't want to go with Bruins, but I think Bruins are going to win this game, so I got to go Bruins here.
All right. Well, way I normally pick this is how the scoring differential breaks down, and it really favors the Rangers in terms of goals for. But the defense you see with Boston a little bit better. They're not as high scoring, just 4 goals, but it worries me just a little bit when you come into these games right after, one of these teams, they can put up a lot more goals than you on any given night. And I feel like this one will be close, as you were saying there, Mike. I just feel like New York has a little bit more of the shooting. They're going to be a little I almost feel like they're going to be a little fresher coming into this one. Matt, you were talking about the veterans for Boston.
Yeah.
Coming off, long season, another holiday, probably real stuffed up. I got to go with a little bit of a younger squad with the Rangers, and I'm going to take them in a close one here. Probably only a 2-1 game.
Yeah.
That's exactly the score I was thinking. I just didn't say it.
2-1.
Sunday, 8 p.m., 10-7-3, the Anaheim Ducks hosting the 14-6-1 Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto 1.5 point favorite in that matchup this Sunday. Guys, give me your thoughts. This one's in Anaheim, by the way.
The Anaheim, I've talked about them before. They are a fast team. They can win some games. I'm probably going to pick them in this game. But the team that, who are they playing again? Did you say Ottawa?
No, Maple Leafs.
The Maple Leafs. Okay.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the screen, dude. Just look down.
Oh, my bad.
I forget that's even there sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah,
Put your glasses on, Matt.
I have my contacts in.
Okay.
It's still early. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But Anaheim, what are they? They're 10-7. So they've won some games. They've lost some close games as well.
That's normally how that works.
Yeah. So I'd like them to come in and maybe possibly take this game, but you never know. The Maple Leafs could show something different. So
I like this. I actually like this Maple Leafs team.
They're pretty good.
They're
14-6.
I'm actually going to go with them in this game. I think they're playing good hockey, and I think, Matt, we saw that a couple days ago when they played the Penguins. Penguins challenged them a little bit, and I think they actually won that game, if I'm not wrong. But
okay.
No, the Penguins lost that game 2-0. But yeah, this Maple team's playing good this year, and some of these some of these games aren't even close that they're playing right now. They just beat the Kings 6-2, beat the Islanders 3-0. So they're separating themselves from some of these teams they're playing, and I like them to beat the Ducks.
Pittsburgh actually beat them. Did you say Pittsburgh?
Oh, did they?
Them? Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I thought they did. I couldn't remember.
That's the last game they lost.
All right, here I'll go ahead and give my pick on this one. Ducks on the season, goals for 65, one of the highest scoring offenses. Matt, you've talked about the speed. They're on a 3-game skid, though. Also, we'll see if they can take this, Thanksgiving break, come back into things, and come on back out going fast on the other side. After Thanksgiving, we just talked about it. You're a little heavy. You're not as fast as you used to be. I like how much they can score. They're playing decent defense, 56 goals allowed. But you see the defensive unit for the Maple Leafs right now, just allowing 47 goals against on this season. And that's one of the lows out of any team that we're seeing. There's not many teams that are allowing just 47. The Boston Bruins have allowed just 44. But, you're looking at this team, and you see they're a total defensive unit. I just want their offense to do a little bit more. 57 goals for. They're trailing behind the Florida Panthers, who have 73 goals for in the season, which leads the NHL right now and by far and away. It's a 6-goal lead over the next highest scoring team in the Minnesota Wild. And, I see this matchup. I see them coming in and dominating defensively, taking advantage of perhaps a slower Anaheim team right now, who's kind of sliding down the polls. I like this team. I picked them earlier in the year, but Mike, as you were saying, they've really started separating themselves in Toronto. So I'm going to go with Toronto as well there, taking the Maple Leafs.
I got to go Toronto here as well. They've won 12 of their last 14 games. They're on a streak here. The last game they lost was against Pittsburgh. Before that was LA. But, before that huge winning streak, they were on a skid. They lost like 5 in a row. So to lose 5 in a row and then pull off the next 12 out of 14 games, that's something to do. So they're on a hot streak. I got to go with that.
Yeah, and some of the goal differentials in those games too, like I said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look ahead at the NFL this weekend. So far, the record stand is this: 3-1 for both Matt and I. Mike, you're at 2-2 so far. Took the Lions over the Bears and the Cowboys over the Raiders. We all took the Cowboys in that one. Raiders end up winning that one. Epic late game field goal. That was a fun finish, Mike. I know you're disappointed with your team a little bit there, but I think you have to give credit for the Raiders finally pulling off a way to win with all the stuff going around and pulling out one close. They stuck it in there and took home the win at the end.
Yeah,
you can go ahead and give your thoughts on this one here before we get into the preview.
They found a way to win. I give credit when credit's due. They did, but it's also, do they score 36 points if Dallas doesn't have like 20 penalties on defense? No.
It was ridiculous, yeah.
And, Dallas scores 33 points without their top 2 receivers. You think they'd win that game, but they found a way to lose. And, again, I'm not really one to blame officiating or injuries, but having CeeDee Lamb, Cooper, the guys on defense out, that matters. And the penalties, obviously, they killed themselves. And the Raiders killed themselves, too. On a big
day like this, too.
Yeah, and the Raiders found a way to kill themselves, too, because they had the same amount of penalties almost. So they just found a way to win, and I give them credit. And like I said, I'm used to this on Thanksgiving. The Cowboys never play good on Thanksgiving. It's just, I don't know what it is. The last couple of years, they haven't.
Well, Bills made sure to take care of the Saints in their dessert meal, 31-6 there. Let's look ahead what we got going on this weekend. First matchup, Buccaneers versus the Colts, 7-3, 6-5. Something about me in this one likes the Colts. Matt, what do you think?
The Colts definitely got to look at them. They just beat a good Buffalo team. Buffalo, of course, bouncing back, but you have to say, hey, are things finally clicking here for the Colts? So I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see what Carson Wentz can pull, see what Jonathan Taylor can do again. Can he put up that same performance that he did this previous week? But I don't know. It should be a pretty good game now.
What about you, Mike? What are your thoughts? Tampa versus Indy.
I mean, this actually probably is one of the better games. And
yeah,
I think the Colts, they're probably feeling good after that week. The last week win against Buffalo. They're at home. This one against Tampa. I'm gonna actually give away my pick right here. I'm done picking again. I'm done picking with the Buccaneers because the last few weeks I picked them, and especially since I've had money on them, they've been losing. So I'm gonna switch things up and go with the Colts here. I think they're playing good football too, and they're at home, like I said. So I think they could win this one.
Matt?
I think the Colts are gonna pull it off. Buccaneers have lost some stupid games before, okay, and I think this is gonna be one of them.
Yeah, stupid ones that screwed me and cost me some money, but
sorry.
Jeez. Mike's pulling out. I look at this game, and much like I do with hockey, I love looking at your points for, points against. It's how I love to view these teams because you can really see what they've done for looking at a total view of the season. And to me, you get a little bit of a better idea of what they've done. Right now, you have one of the hottest offenses with Tampa Bay, 309 points for. A pretty good defense on the other side, 222 points against, 5-0 at home. They have struggled on the road this season, just 2-3 away from their palace in Tampa. The Colts, 6-5 on the season, 309 points for. They're right up there next to Tampa Bay when it comes to scoring. So the offenses, to me, come into this one even. And the Colts, they've allowed just 23 more points on defense, 245 against. They're 3-3 at home, 3-2 on the road. To me, this is a very even feeling matchup because you have a team that struggled at home, a team that struggled on the road. Two very even offenses with a defense in Tampa that might be a little bit better, but you see the way this Colts team has been playing now. They're on a 3-game win streak. Yeah, 2 of them came against the Jets and the Jaguars, but they just slaughtered the Bills. I mean, they took them to the woodshed and left them for dead. They had a close one against the Titans that went to overtime. They beat the Niners. They beat the Colts. They took it to overtime against the Ravens. Everything to me about this Colts team tells me they have found their rhythm. They know what to do. It's just you get down to overtime. Sometimes you can't control the outcome based on, whoever gets the ball first. Yeah. Sometimes if your defense just tired late game, they can't pull off one more stop. To me, this Colts team has everything they need, and that's why I'm going to go with them here. I like them. They've been close in every game so far, really, for the most part. You can't really see any really bad parts of this team because everything is close, and 2 of those losses came in the first 2 weeks against the Seahawks and the Rams and the Titans. So, 3 straight wins to start off the season. Then the rest of those losses have been in overtime. I like everything I see out of this Colts squad. And as much as, we love to dig on Carson Wentz here on the show, I think he gave them what they needed in terms of having a consistent quarterback. So I got the Colts.
Yeah.
Good one.
Well, this one's not such a good one. 2-8 New York Jets, 2-8 Houston Texans. I think this one goes pretty quick for me. I'm taking the Texans here. They're starting to return to form, getting, I believe, Tyrod Taylor back. So, he's definitely lit a spark underneath them to try and get them back, to where they were start of the season. Had a lot of hype coming in. You were wondering whether or not Tyrod was going to be able to pull it off. They beat the Titans last week, 22-13, and it was a good performance. Tyrod Taylor, 14-24. They didn't need to use him too much, 170 yards. I want more out of him, and they really didn't get a lot going on the ground. Tyrod Taylor had both rushing touchdowns on 28 yards. They need to find a way to get the rushing game involved. They have Phillip Lindsay, who didn't really play good in that game against the Titans. But if you remember back to his days in Denver, he was one of the most explosive, quick-footed running backs that we've seen in a long time in the NFL. If he ever found a hole, he was gone down the sideline. He's a very quick back, and they need to get him involved. Rex Burkhead is a great short yardage situation type back. And you can't forget about David Johnson. Yeah, he's a little bit older, up there in the 30s, but he has had a great career so far, and he knows how to pound the rock. So they have a great rushing attack if they can find a way to get it going. To me, that's what they need to go to, because besides Brandon Cooks, they don't really have much of a wide receiver core. Chris Conley, Pharaoh Brown, 2 guys that are, okay. Danny Amendola didn't really get going in that game against the Titans. They have Nico Collins, but it just doesn't feel like they have that standout wide receiver to me. They have to win this one on the ground if they're going to take it, and I don't have any confidence in the New York Jets to be able to stop or, anything, honestly. I don't have confidence in the Jets. Can I just stop it there?
No confidence in either of these teams, honestly.
Right.
Actually, Phillip Lindsay was actually cut by the Texans.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Earlier this week? Well,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Dolphins has picked him up as well.
Great job paying attention to the wire, Matt. Nice job.
Yeah, I thought I saw it somewhere. I'm like, did he get cut?
Well,
he got cut.
He had one rush for -3 yards. Apparently, Houston said that wasn't good enough.
They're not good enough.
They're not good enough.
Maybe that's just hey, Philip, get out of here, please. Yeah, we don't want to ruin you any more than we already are. We'll cut everybody but Deshaun Watson, right?
Yeah, honestly. So that makes sense.
Well,
but this one,
I'm taking the Texans here. That's my pick. You guys go ahead. Give your thoughts. Take your pick.
I gotta go Texans here too. The last time Tyrod Taylor, he got their first win. They were 1-0, and he got hurt, and they haven't won since. And he finally came back, and then that's the next time they won when he came back. So I think he's got the rhythm with this team. I think they pull off this win.
Tyrod's a winner, Mike.
I'm actually gonna go Texas as well. I was thinking about picking the Jets, but I think comes down to quarterback play, and I think Tyrod's a better quarterback than the guys I have right now in New York. So we'll go Houston.
Whoever it is going to end up starting for this one. Who really knows at this point? Well, next game up here, Mike, it's your division with the Cowboys. We have the 5-6 Eagles taking on the 3-7 Giants. This is 2 versus 4 in the NFC East. Eagles not too far behind the Cowboys right now, Mike. Just a 2-game deficit there. And if they have a good finish to the season, there's a chance that they could get into a wild card spot. A lot of the 2 seeds in this are about at the same spot. It seems the Rams are probably going to lock up the wild card spot from the NFC West, but Eagles have a chance that they can compete with the likes of the Vikings and the Panthers and the Saints in the late stages of the season to potentially pull off that wild card in the NFC. So you got to watch out for them. Mike, since this is your division with the Cowboys, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, if the Eagles win this game, they'll be 6-6. That'll be 500, and they're right in the thick of things. And they found something here with Jalen Hurts, right? Because beginning of the year, he wasn't playing as well, and people were starting to get on him, and he's kept his head down and started to lead this team. And I like what they're doing offensively, and they're mixing in with some good defense here. And they got it. Who they play last week? I think the Saints. They beat the Saints. And they did against good defense. The Saints have a good defense and at home too. And again, I like the way they're playing right now. And the Cowboys can't take them lightly either because they're only 2 games, maybe a little bit
games back
over that. Yeah, 2 games behind the division. And I honestly think if this is a team that gets in the playoffs, they could. I don't know how far they'll go, but they could surprise some teams. And maybe
besides Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts probably having one of the best, younger seasons. Obviously, Mac Jones having the best rookie season, but keep in mind, it's really only Jalen Hurts. This is basically Jalen Hurts' rookie season. He came in end of last year, got some crap snaps, is what I call them. Yeah, they didn't mean anything. They were down for the count, trying to get a better pick. And to me, this is his first meaningful season. So I'm calling him a rookie. I know he's not, but to me, he's having one of the best rookie years out of all these quarterbacks. And Mac Jones, I think, to me, still having a better one. But, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Jalen. I said at the beginning of the year, I liked what they had with him. I went away with him. I'd been picking them consistently until that Saints game last week. I lost confidence. It's been built back in me. And I pick them. They don't always win. But to me, you look at this team right now, if this was in Philly, no way I'm picking the Eagles. But it's on the road, and on the road this season, Eagles are 4-2. They've only won once at home. Their point differential is just a 37-point split, a little bit more in the points for category, but you haven't seen the Giants score all season. They're one of the worst offenses in the National Football League. Their defense isn't much better. So I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles here on the road.
And I'm going Eagles too. Because, Alek, I remember at the beginning of the year, you said this an Eagle team you were kind of looking at, and then they kind of slacked off, but now they're starting to heat up again. So, I'm going Eagles as well. And playing on the road, like you said, they're playing at the Giants. It's not a hard place to play there. So,
No, I got to go
playing in New
Eagles
Jersey.
too.
I mean, not too hard.
I got to go Eagles here too. I like you said, one of the worst offenses for, the Giants. Eagles finally their offense is, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. It's like sitting in that, the middle area. I think it's Daniel Jones's time is done in New York. I think it's over.
All right.
Same with Saquon too. I think they need to start fresh.
Yeah, I don't think I would mind a complete rebuild in New York.
They did just fire Jason Garrett, though.
Right.
So.
And they brought in Freddie Kitchens, so.
Yeah.
Honestly, Matt, you're right.
Honestly, though, Freddie Kitchens was a pretty good offensive coordinator, okay?
Yeah.
But he was not a good head coach.
No, not even a little bit.
He was a good offensive coordinator for that Browns team, so.
And honestly, Matt, if they were to move on from Daniel Jones and Barkley, get Barkley out of there. Yeah. Let him start over because this isn't the place for him.
No.
Watch him go to Tampa.
Yeah, really.
At least give him a good offensive line.
Yeah, he needs help. But next game on the slate after we all take Philly, the Carolina Panthers at 5-6 in Miami to take on the 4-7 Dolphins. Guys, any thoughts on this one here? Both teams struggling. Don't really know what's going on with the Panther squad with quarterback situations. Probably going to end up being Cam Newton again, but he didn't play fantastic in that last game. And any thoughts on this one?
Mike?
I'm just going to flat out say it. I like the Panthers in this game.
I like the Panthers in this game.
Like you said, neither team's playing good. And the Panthers, I mean, they played good 2 weeks ago, but last week they kind of didn't play as well. But I mean, if you have Cam Newton in there, he's not the Cam Newton of old, but it's better than having some of the young guys they have in Miami. So
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go Carolina here.
I gotta go Carolina too. I think Cam Newton will. I think he got a little bit to his head. You know, that first game he had his good comeback game, and the next
he still
game,
threw 2 touchdowns though. So
yeah, he threw 2. Yeah, he still did okay, but I think the hype got a little bit like, oh, I'm back. I can't believe this. Just settle down a little bit. Yeah. So just settle down and, focus on what you have to do. Dolphins, though, if they pull this win off, I mean, 5-7. I mean, that's not bad, but
they're going to have to really put the hammer down if they want to catch up to both the Bills and the Patriots here in the final stretch of the season. I mean, it becomes very close to them being eliminated. So I think the late season push for them probably just about done. But you see this Panthers squad, they're just, in a very similar spot you saw the Eagles were behind the Cowboys. 7-3 Buccaneers. You got 5-6 Panthers right behind them. Maybe they're figuring out a quarterback situation. They've also struggled at home, but they have a winning record on the road. And you're going up against a team that in the Dolphins are only 2-3 at home, but they are on a 3-game win streak. So you got to give them some credit for what they've done. They've beaten the Texans, the Ravens, and the Jets here in their last 3 weeks. So maybe give them something, but not enough here. I'm taking Panthers.
Nice setup.
Right? I'll lead you in. Maybe I'll take them. Not a chance. Well, this one, it'll be a little bit more of a coin flip here. 8-3 Titans, 7-4 Patriots in Foxborough. We'll see if the Pats can finally start playing well at home. Just 2-4 in Foxborough. Guys?
This is one of the better ones of the weekend, too, along with that Colts and Tampa game. Yeah, and like you said, go ahead, man.
This game sets up next week's Monday night game between Patriots and Bills. If Patriots lose, Bills are back in first, but Patriots win, they retain first. So it's gonna come down to next week. So this is a huge game, especially against this Titans team. They did just release Adrian Peterson, but they have been pulling out some wins. So you gotta be careful here with this Titans team. Their defense is still pretty good. Guys like Bud Dupree on that defense. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah, and you know what? In the line in this game 7, and I think that's kind of a lot because not too much of a big margin for the point spread, but both defenses are good, so this might be a close game, and it could be 7, it could be a little bit less than that. I'm kind of leaning towards it being a little bit less than that, and the over/under is 43.5, so that's another number that's going to be low scoring because the defenses are good. And I talked about it with the Titans' offense isn't the same without Derrick Henry. We all know this, but Bill Belichick, like I said, finds ways to come up with something. And I think the Patriots probably need this one a little bit more to, like you said, Alek, because their home record hasn't been this good this year, and it hasn't been what we've seen with them in the past with their home record. So I think it'll be a better one for the Patriots to win than the Titans.
All right, want to make your pick there, Mike? Taking the Patriots?
Yeah, I'll go Patriots here.
What about you, Matt?
I'm going to go Patriots as well.
Well, to me right now, as much as we talk about that defense of the Titans, they're strong, 254 points against this season. Look at what the Patriots have done. First in the NFL, 177 points against. Most teams we're talking about right now are in the 200s, maybe, mid 200s right now. The Bills are 182, and we've talked about the excellence of that defense and how they've played. Billy B has his team allowing just 177 points against on the season thus far. We are seeing maybe 2 other teams in the National Football League play that good defensively, and even then they're still far away from the Bills with that 5 more points to the Bills. And then you got the Broncos, who actually have a pretty good defense right now. They've only allowed 183 points on the season, but they just don't have any offense. This team has the offense to go along with it. They've scored 300 points for this season, and really That's, I believe, third place in the AFC right now, behind the Bills, who have 326, and the Colts, who have 309. This is one of the best offensive and defensive units we've seen in the NFL this season. And to me, this is one of the best teams we've seen, led by the best rookie quarterback, who has a combined record, with 7-4, who has a better, has more wins than the rest of the rookies in the NFL combined this year for rookie quarterbacks. To me, Mac Jones, 1, is rookie of the year, and 2, Patriots take this one. And I'm saying it's a landslide victory for the Patriots in this one. I don't have faith. The Titans have the ability to stop. They've allowed 254 points on the season so far. That's second best in the AFC South. But you look around the rest of the league, it ain't that great, Jack. They haven't been playing that good. So to me, they're sitting in first place. They're on a 1-game slide. But they ain't the total package. They need help. I don't know where they're going to get it from. Derrick Henry was the only reason to me while they were able to win a football game. No DH, no chance for the home run. I'm taking the Patriots.
Patriots across.
Oh, yeah.
Next on the slate, Matt, your squad. Interdivisional matchup here, 5-4-1 Steelers in Cincinnati take on the 6-4 Bengals. Should be a fun matchup. Battle for second place right here in the AFC North. Matt, your team, I'll let you go ahead and take this one.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, their offense looked pretty good last game, putting up 37 points in pretty much a year. So, they have to repeat that. They have to repeat that again in this game. They have to go up. This Bengals defense isn't the best defense, so I think they should be able to put up some points because that Chargers defense is pretty strong, okay? With Joey
Bengals defense is actually better than yours.
Is it?
Yeah, at least when points scored. Yardage, cool. You know what to me, when they rank these teams based on yardage, it doesn't paint the whole picture, because you look at it right now, I think most people watching the National Football League would say Steelers probably have a better, more complete defense. But they've allowed 226 points. The Bengals have allowed just 216. They've allowed 10 less points on the season. And to me, you have to at least factor that in when we're talking defenses. I say I give a little bit of the edge to the Bengals right there.
Yeah, a little bit, especially, we have some injured guys. I don't know if TJ is going to come back, but I don't know what the deal is with Fitzpatrick. So those are some guys that you definitely need to be involved in this defense because, guys like Cameron Hayward and, Cameron Sutton, they're good players.
Expected to practice, but questionable for this Sunday.
Questionable. Okay. So if they get TJ back, then I think that they have a better chance to win this game, defensively, and their offense doesn't need to put up those points like they did last week, which is good, do that, but I don't know. I don't think they can do that. That's not
their style is what you're saying.
That's not their style. No, they run the ball. They score 20, 23 points minimum, and, Ben doesn't throw.
Maximum 20,
maximum. My bad. Maximum. And, Big Ben, if he doesn't throw more than 50 times, I really think you got to get Harris going again because, that's your offense there. It's cemented around the running game. You have to run that football more. I think you got to get more screen passes as well. I really think they should involve Washington more in this offense. I like the addition of Ray McLeod. I like his special teams work, but yes, he's good as a slot receiver, but I think you need to get Washington involved a little bit more because I honestly think he's a hidden gem and they need to go to him more. Claypool's doing what he needs to do. Keep doing that. And, Deontay Johnson is the lead receiver in this team. He has progressed way farther than he did last year. Last year he was dropping balls, and, this year, I think he's hardly dropped one. He's made some tough catches, a bunch in this last game. They showed him pregame warm-ups, practicing with the tennis balls and stuff like that, making these, weird catches that you're going to have to make. They're weird, but they're tough to make. He's really cemented himself in this offense, and he's going to be one of the keys as well. But defensively, if we get some guys back that we don't have to – we can weigh out everything separately, not weigh everything on Cameron Hayward. I think that they have a pretty good chance to win this game. They lost to the Bengals last time. So, they saw what they can do. They saw what Burrow can do, but they also learned how to stop him. So, and you got to stop Joe Mixon too because the guy's going off.
Well, Mike, you want to take something here? What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I like what you brought up about the defense too. It doesn't always matter about the yardage because to make a college comparison too with the defense, I mean, you see Penn State, they give up big plays, but they tighten things up in the red zone. And I think that's kind of what both of these teams do in the pros. And, with the Steelers, like you said, Matt, the first game they played against each other, Bengals won. And I think the Steelers kind of did – a lot of teams throughout the league, especially the Steelers at that point, didn't know, how good this Bengals offense is and how actually good the Bengals are. But I'm going to go ahead and make my pick here. I'm going to go Steelers because I think, they lose one at home against the Bengals. Now this one's in Cincinnati. I think the Steelers know that. I think they're coming off, a little bit, kind of excited about the way they played offensively. And, if they can get some guys back on defense, like you said, that's definitely going to help. And, yeah, I like the Steelers here.
Matt, I don't even think we have to take take more than one guess to figure out who you're picking in this game.
Oh, yeah. Pittsburgh. I'm going to pick against my team.
To me, Matt, I'm sorry. I think I got to go against this Steelers squad. It's that Lions game, and they've been playing teams close, but you got that one. You mix in the fact this team has scored just 214 points on the season, which is one of the lowest in the National Football League. It's lowest in the AFC North, and besides teams like the Texans and the Jaguars, there's not too many teams below them when it comes to scoring. The Broncos, who are a last place team, the Jets, a last place team, the Dolphins, not a good football team, the Giants, they're bad. This is the same offensive setup that we're seeing with your Steelers squad. To me, if this is a Steelers team that maybe has one or two more weapons like they have in the past, they're not this bad offensively, then I take them. To me, I don't see anything in Pittsburgh that warrants faith in having an offensive production like they did out of this last performance. And to me, maybe there's a little bit of me being a Browns fan, wanting them to get back into the race here, potentially, and jump the Steelers. I don't know if the Steelers can pull this one off. They're a half a game ahead of the Browns right now. And to me, Browns have a worse defense, but offensively, Browns a little better. Bengals, they're a lot better. They got the number one offense in the AFC North, 268 points more, plus the best defense as well. I think Bengals right now are secretly a dark horse to take home the AFC North right now with the way things are working out this season. Only a game behind the Ravens. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Cincinnati. Joey B has returned to form. He's taken out what I said about him being a bust right out of the NFL draft. I said it. I was going to stick with it. But you know what? He's proven me wrong. And if he can prove me wrong, I'll remove that banner from his name this offseason. If he can prove me wrong, take a wild card spot, or just continue to play well this season, continue to have one of the best offenses in the NFL. I like the Bengals in this one. I think their offense is on the money. I'm taking Cincinnati at home.
Minka Fitzpatrick is activated off the COVID list. He'll return, and Joe Hayden looks to make a return as well. He returned to practice. So those are some big pieces to add back to this defense. TJ Watt is the only one that remains limited. So probably like next week or something.
And Alek, I like what you said about this Bengals team because actually the first time they played each other early in the year, I actually picked the Bengals to win it. Mainly for the same reason you just said, but now we have more on them because it's later in the season. But I'm with you on their offense. If they can get into in the playoffs, and they're kind of scary. And the way Joe Burrow's been playing,
man.
They have weapons, and he knows how to get to them.
He's really impressive the way he delivers the ball down the field, and I think that's one thing that if you're looking at a college quarterback right now, what's your deep ball like? So I feel like that's what everybody wants. You have to be able to have the deep ball. And I think the extra years at Ohio State and then going to LSU, having two different offensive systems between the two schools, even though he didn't start in Columbus, he went down to LSU, wins the national championship. He has his number one wide receiver with them here in Cincinnati, and that just helps his chemistry out. And I think this is a blueprint for a lot of other teams out there. Go find a quarterback and then get his number one guy. Give him someone he can feel comfortable with day in and day out. It doesn't matter if you're wasting a pick. Give this guy somebody he knows. Give him that relationship that he can use to encompass the team. Give him that motivational guy that he had back in college and try and see if you can find some magic with, whatever's left in that old black cap. And, to me, that's just what you're seeing right now with the Bengals. They have everything. They're working out well, and I love what I'm seeing. We got to go on next game here. Falcons, Jaguars. I'm going to make this one a quick pick. Jaguars suck. Falcons win.
Yeah, I'm going to go Falcons as well here.
I think I'm going to go Jags. Why not? This game's weird too, so why not?
Yep. All right. Well, Chargers versus Broncos. Next one up, 6-4 on the road in Denver to take on 5-5 Denver. Guys, any thoughts on this one? Because this feels like it's a little bit of a closer game. It's actually a big chance right now. Broncos can jump up to second place in the AFC West if Actually, I think they'd be right behind. They'd be third place if they beat the Chargers. But Chargers, I think, fall to last place if they lose this one here for the AFC West. So it's a very contested division right now. And you see that defense for the Broncos, 183 against. So I just don't know if they can score the rock.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's why I'm going to go Chargers here because their defense is really good. One of the top ones in the league with Denver. But like you said, they can't score, and the Chargers can score.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a battle of the Chargers offense against the Bengals or the Broncos defense. So I guess we'll see with that. But I'm going Chargers.
Yeah,
I'm taking the Chargers as well here.
Chargers would fall to last if they lose this game, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, you saw what they did last week against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh really gave them everything on offense, and they still managed to get some stops, and Justin Herbert was insane. So I predict him to do the same this week. Go Chargers.
Chiefs and Cardinals on a bye as well, so Chargers can tie the Chiefs for first place right now in their, division. So big game for the Chargers. They need this one here to make it close down the end of the season. Next game on our list, down to our final three. 7-3 Rams, game of the week in Green Bay at 425. Take on the 8-3 Packers. This one, it's what we've all been waiting for. We got some winter weather potentially coming in. There was snow before the game last week in Green Bay. Maybe we'll see some more here, and we're getting a snow bowl up north. Guys, thoughts on this one? I love this game.
Yeah,
this is going to be a pretty competitive game. You got the Packers. Yeah, they lost last week, close one to the Vikings. They may bounce back this week. They may not. We don't know why Aaron Rodgers has his leave this week.
And Matt, you called it. Maybe he was just taking one off. We saw when he lost earlier in the season, it was just like, you guys need me.
Yeah. So
I win or I lose. It's up to me.
Yeah. So just depends on what he does this week. The Rams, yes, they have the addition of Odell Beckham. Hopefully he can cement himself more in this game than he did last week. They just acquired him. They're just seeing what he can do. They put him in a couple plays. He didn't do much. I think this is the week where they really cement him into this offense with Cooper Kupp. So, and Matthew Stafford has been doing good things all year. So, I don't know. If we're making picks right now, I got to go Rams. I say Rams beat them.
All right. Mike, what are your thoughts here?
Odds makers are saying it's going to be close, Max. It's a 1-point spread. So we'll see. But, I think, if it's a cold weather game, like it probably will be, like you brought up, Alek, I don't think it's a big disadvantage to the Rams because you have Matthew Stafford that used to play in Detroit. I know they have a dome, but he's
played used to these northern weather plays.
He's used to it because he's played in these other cities like Chicago and all, and even Green Bay. So he's played in bad weather games like this in Green Bay. And I don't know how Aaron Rodgers' his toe situation. I don't know how severe it is, but he's still going to find a way to play through it. So I don't know how much that'll affect him. It might not at all, but I'm with you, man. I'm actually go Rams here.
Yeah.
Well, one thing on the season, 4-0 in Lambeau. Packers don't lose at home. I got Green Bay. I like Aaron Rodgers. I've been a semi-Green Bay fan since A.J. Hawk played there with Clay Matthews, one of the best linebacking units in my memory. 247 points for in the season. Rams have been a little better in that category, 271. And Mike, as you were saying, they have some guys that have played in the cold. You can't forget Odell played in Cleveland. He can catch in the cold weather sometimes. And New York. And, he's played up north here. He knows how to play Stafford in Detroit. And the thing is, as much as we say it's an LA-based team, they play all over the country. They're going to play in cold weather, in Foxborough or New York, Green Bay here. There's so many places up north that they're going to play in the cold weather. They got a little bit of a taste of it when they played Cleveland, so I'm not worried about the weather here. But you just see this Packers team at home. They don't lose at home. They've lost all 3 games on the road. They haven't lost here at home, so I got Packers taking this one. I think close, but I still got the Packers. And Mike, you took the Rams?
Yeah, actually, I do want the Packers to win, but I don't know. There's some question marks.
And Cooper Kupp knows how to play in cold weather, too. The guy's from Yakima, Washington. So.
Right, yeah. He's going to have no problems there. Yeah. Vikings at 49ers this weekend, 5-5 versus 5-5. 49ers, they seem like they might be out of the conversation for the playoffs. They would need a strong part, and we'd have to see the NFC West get both wild card spots in it, which I think to me will be a hard one to do unless they can really find a way to pull through the rest of this season. I think they got a lot of question marks going their own way. They've been bad at home. They've been good on the road, though, 4-1 when they visited outside, but they're hosting this Viking squad who, to me, is probably the best 5-5 team in the National Football League. They're just one of those teams you can't ever undervalue, and they're pulling you close every single game. And, I mean, you see their 0.4 and points against. 255 for, 242 against. Just like every game this season, it's about that much separating them. So I think they found a mechanism against the against the Packers this past weekend. They got to win over the Chargers. They were close in overtime against the Ravens. They were close against the Cowboys. This team, they know how to win. They can beat you. I got to go with the Vikings in this one. I like them over the Niners.
I got to go Vikings here, too. Dalvin Cook has been the workhorse of this offense. Kirk Cousins and, Jefferson as well, another good receiver on this offense. I think the Vikings are going to pull this one out too. They finally figure out how to beat, their big rival and the Packers last week. I think they keep it rolling here. They're 2-3 on the road, so I mean, better than 1-4 at home. So
yeah, man, I'm going to actually go Vikings too. I was thinking about picking the Niners, but I think the Vikings have more on offense, and they mix it in with some good defense too, and they've really had a solid defense all year. It's just a matter of their offense, but not to take a shot at Kirk Cousins, but this isn't a primetime game, so they might actually win it. So
right, honestly.
So yeah, I'm going Vikings.
Well, one final game to go into. My Cleveland Browns on the road against the former Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, 7-3. The Ravens team 4-1 at home. Browns have struggled on the road at 2-3. Defense worst in the AFC North. They're not too great offensively, though. They're right up there with the Ravens. 247 points for the Ravens, 244 points for the Browns. Both teams on a one-game win streak, and to me, this feels a lot closer than I think it might end up being because of what you've seen in the last 4 weeks out of this Ravens team. They get blown out to the Bengals, a 3-point win in overtime against the Vikings, a 12-point loss to the Dolphins, a 3-point win to the Bears. They're just not winning impressive. And I mean, you even go back farther than that. They get the big game against the Chargers. That's their one big game. I mean, you saw a 6-point overtime win against the Colts. They can win late. 2-point win against the Lions, a 1-point win against the Chiefs. This team has just been so close all season long. They feel like just what the Vikings could have been if they pulled out 1 or 2 of those close games. We'd be saying them in the same light. And as great as Lamar Jackson has been this year, I'm not sure if it's enough right now. With what I'm hoping is a re-enlightened Brown squad who can come in here and play with their heads on fire, because they were close in that last game against the Lions, and they shouldn't have been. That was, frankly, a terrible football game. But just the one thing that concerns me is Baker Mayfield. He is clearly injured. It's clearly affecting this team. His play isn't up to par. It's not his standard. And even though his standard isn't fantastic, he's still playing below that. And you at least have to say maybe 50% of that is the fact that he is injured, and he's playing with 6-7 injuries. And to me, Case Keenum showed that he could come in there and take care of business, just as well as Baker Mayfield could, maybe a little less, but yeah, I just think it's time Cleveland needs to just allow Baker Mayfield to get healthy, especially if they're wanting to be a team that can make a postseason run and make a run at this thing. They need their quarterback healthy when the time comes. And if they won't risk Baker now, they don't stand a chance come playoff time if they have to put Case Keenum in, because in the playoffs, Keenum isn't going to be the guy to win you the Super Bowl. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Baker at quarterback. And as much as, that doesn't sound like a very smart statement to say Baker Mayfield could win the Super Bowl, I think he gives Cleveland the best chance, because you know what? He's a Cleveland guy through and through. That is who he is. He has had this rough and tough, gritty energy the entire time from Oklahoma up to here now in Cleveland. To me, he is that guy that if the Browns ever want a chance, somehow, some way, it's going to be Baker. And I'll go ahead and give my pick. Pretty simple. I got the Browns taking this one. They're my team. I'm sticking with them. And most likely, I think you guys going the other way in this one. But I got to roll with my Browns. Got to show some love.
I'm actually staying with the Browns too.
I'm going to go Browns here too. I think their defense is going to really get at Lamar Jackson. I think Jackson's finally going to feel the heat because they got to play the Browns back to back. So,
right?
Is there a bye week
with the bye week in the middle? Yeah,
with the bye week. But I mean, facing the same team back to back weeks. Yes, this is in Baltimore this game, but next week.
No, Matt, Baltimore won't get a break in between. Browns do. Ravens have the Steelers next week.
Oh boy! Oh, well, if they don't win this game, they're definitely going to win the next game. because we're gonna wear them out. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna
All
go
right.
up on that next week. I gotta
We're
go
going Browns
here.
across the board here. That just leaves us with two final segments. Highlight of the week here for the Casual Sports Podcast, week of Thanksgiving. I'm going to go first on mine. I got Michigan State, Loyola Chicago just the other night on November 24th. Fantastic finish to that one. Tyson Walker throwing up the lob at the buzzer to Marcus Bingham Jr. He dunks it down on an alley-oop, 3.4 seconds left on the clock. Loyola just has to launch one up from half court. They can't finish it out. It was an epic finish to that game, and Bingham Jr. Put the exclamation point on the finish of it.
And actually played yesterday too as well. Loyola lost again yesterday. Very not as close as the game before, but they I forget who they even lost to.
Was it Auburn?
I think it was Auburn. They lost to Auburn. It wasn't a bad score, but
62-53.
Yeah. So definitely the Michigan State game was a big heartbreaker. Like, they could have won that game, and I think they
Still a lot of time to go. They can still take their conference and make it to the postseason.
Absolutely.
So, Matt, what's your highlight of the week here?
I gotta go this Thanksgiving week. Just chilling here at my house.
Just chilling, taking some time off.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Mike, what about you? What's your highlight of the week?
That's a good one, Matt.
Sports related?
It is going to be sports. I mean, I didn't really have one before the show. Matt kind of helped me out with this one. Even though the Cowboys lost, that Tony Pollard return last night was pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah. 100 yards, took it.
I mean, they lost, but it got him back into the game. So, and again, Tony Pollard is a beast, so I'll throw him into the highlight.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have any sports highlights from the week?
Sports highlights?
Yeah.
I don't know.
My guy hasn't been paying attention to this.
I'm going to go to rivalry week.
Really.
How about that one?
Huh?
All the rivalry
week?
Oh, yeah, the rivalry. We'll go with that.
Didn't happen yet, but we've been hyping it up.
All right. Well, Matt, I guess that leaves one final segment.
Yep.
You ready?
Yep. Are you ready? You better get it right.
Hopefully. This week's Meathead of the Week.
All right. So there's a couple options here, but I had to go with this one because, man, how do you hate this food? Matt Judon of the New England Patriots says we got to get mac and cheese off the table. It's just cheese and noodles. It's not that good. You kidding me? Then that Falcons coach came out, Arthur Smith came out. There's something wrong with you if you don't like mac and cheese. It's mac and cheese. It's more than just cheese and noodles, okay? It's heaviness. It is heaviness to eat mac and cheese. You eat mac and cheese you can put mac and cheese with any meal, and it will fit. Mac and cheese and hot dogs, mac and cheese and fish. You can do anything with mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is a very versatile food.
You put it with a lot of things.
I make a lot. It's cheap. It's easy to make. You pick up a box of shells and cheese from Walmart for 34 cents. I mean, you got at least a side dish for your dinner, whether you want to mix it with some meat, some broccoli, whatever you want to put it with. It's a good complimentary dish, and nothing with it. It's something easy. Every kid's gonna like it. To me, taking that off the Thanksgiving plate, no, that's just silly.
Judon
needs to go get checked for CTE on that one. That's not cool. You don't diss mac and cheese going into it.
I actually need to add it to the Thanksgiving menu.
Yeah, it's not something we normally have at my house, but
no.
I'm going over to some relatives' house this weekend. I know they're going to have it on their plate. So mac and cheese coming up.
Load up.
Eat it.
All right. Well, that is going to do it here. Another week of the Casual Sports Podcast in the books. We want to thank you again for tuning in through all these weeks. And we got to give once again, a happy Thanksgiving. We hope you stay safe and travel well this weekend. And at the end of it, OHIO, go Bucks. Beat that team up north. I got to put it out there. Beat that crap to the north. Bring it home. Big Ten champion. Let's go.
Penn State's got to beat that crap up to the north, too. We got to play another.
Finish it off. Finish strong. All right. Well, that's going to do it. I'm Alek. That's Mike and Matt. We'll see y'all